We live in a world that rewards confidence, independence, and self-reliance. We are taught to stand tall, solve our own problems, and never let others see us struggle. From a young age, many of us learned the same quiet lesson: don't ask for help. Yet beneath this message lies a contradiction. Despite being more connected than ever, loneliness is rising. People feel surrounded, yet unsupported. Known, yet unseen. Strong, yet tired. This audiobook invites you to question one deeply ingrained belief, that being liked comes from being impressive. What if the opposite were true? What if the real key to connection isn't showing how capable you are, but allowing yourself to be human? Asking for help is not weakness. It is one of the most powerful social skills you will ever learn. It builds trust, creates emotional safety, and turns ordinary interactions into meaningful relationships. It transforms acquaintances into friends, and friends into a support system. In the chapters ahead, you'll discover why people are drawn to those who ask, not because they need something, but because they create space for connection. You'll learn how small moments of vulnerability open doors, how shared effort builds trust, and how a simple request can change the way people experience you. This is not a book about dependence. It is a book about belonging. So as you begin, let go of the idea that you must carry everything alone. What you're about to explore isn't just a way to be liked, it's a way to live connected, supported, and truly known. Chapter 1: The Myth of Self-Sufficiency. We are taught from a young age to stand on our own feet. Be strong. Don't bother others. Figure it out yourself. Somewhere along the way, independence stopped being a healthy skill and turned into a silent rule: needing help means you're failing. This belief shapes how we work, how we struggle, and, most importantly, how we relate to other people. But here's the uncomfortable truth: doing everything alone doesn't make you admirable. It often makes you distant. Self-sufficiency sounds noble, but taken too far, it quietly pushes people away. Why asking for help feels like weakness? Most of us didn't choose this belief consciously. We absorbed it. Parents praised us for solving problems alone. Schools rewarded individual performance. Workplaces glorified the lone high achiever. Society framed strength as independence and need as incompetence. So when we face difficulty, our instinct is to retreat inward. We struggle quietly. We exhaust ourselves trying to prove we can handle it all. And when someone offers help, we respond automatically: I'm good. I've got it covered. What we don't realize is that this response isn't neutral. It sends a message, even if unintentionally, that others aren't needed. People don't just connect by sharing success. They connect by sharing effort, struggle, and humanity. When you never let others in, you deny them the chance to feel useful, trusted, and emotionally involved in your life. Asking for help doesn't make you look weak. It makes you look human. The hidden social cost of "I've got it covered." On the surface, self-sufficiency appears impressive. You're reliable. Low maintenance. Independent. But beneath that image lies a hidden social cost. When you always handle things alone, people assume you don't need them. Opportunities for bonding disappear. Relationships stay polite, but shallow. Others hesitate to open up to you. Friendship grows through shared moments of support. When those moments never happen, connection stagnates. Think about the people you feel closest to. Chances are, you've helped each other through something, stress, confusion, hardship, or uncertainty. Those experiences create emotional glue. Without them, relationships remain transactional. By constantly saying, "I've got it covered," you unintentionally block the very moments that turn acquaintances into friends. How independence can block connection. Healthy independence is powerful. But emotional isolation disguised as independence is not. When you never ask for help, others may interpret it as you don't trust them, you don't value their input, you prefer distance, you don't want deeper connection. This creates an invisible wall. People may like you, respect you, even admire you, but they won't feel close to you. Connection isn't built on perfection. It's built on mutual participation in life's ups and downs. When you allow someone to help you, you give them a role in your story. That role matters. Ironically, the more self-sufficient you appear, the less emotionally accessible you become. Reframing help as a bridge, not a burden. The biggest shift happens when you stop seeing help as something you take and start seeing it as something you share. Help is not a burden. It's an invitation. An invitation to participate. An invitation to connect. An invitation to build trust. Most people want to help. It makes them feel valued, capable, and included. When you ask for help, you're not draining others, you're giving them an opportunity to contribute. This simple reframing changes everything. Practical tips to break the myth of self-sufficiency. 1. Start small, not serious. You don't need a crisis to ask for help. Begin with low-stakes requests. Ask for advice instead of silently deciding. Request a small favor. Ask someone's opinion even if you already have one. These moments build comfort, for you and for them. 2. Replace "I'm fine" with honesty light. You don't have to overshare. Try responses like, "I'm figuring something out, it's been a bit challenging. I could actually use some input on this. I'm managing, but help would be appreciated." This opens the door without overwhelming anyone. 3. Let people help in their own way. Help doesn't always look perfect. Resist the urge to control or correct. Accepting help gracefully strengthens bonds more than doing it your way ever could. 4. Practice receiving without guilt. When someone helps you, say thank you, and stop there. No over-explaining. No apologizing. Gratitude strengthens connection, guilt weakens it. 5. Notice how it changes relationships. Pay attention to what happens when you ask for help. Conversations deepen. Trust increases. People engage more. You'll often find that asking once makes future interactions warmer and more open. The truth about strength. True strength isn't isolation. It's connection. Strong people know when to stand alone, and when to let others stand with them. They understand that relationships aren't built by showing how capable you are, but by allowing others to matter. The myth of self-sufficiency tells you that needing others is a flaw. Reality teaches the opposite. Connection is created the moment you stop pretending you don't need anyone. As you move forward, remember this: every time you ask for help, you aren't stepping backward. You're stepping toward deeper trust, stronger relationships, and a life where you don't have to carry everything alone. And that is not weakness. That is wisdom. Do the same for Chapter 2, the psychology behind asking for help. Key idea: people like being needed more than being impressed. The help is high and why helping feels good. How asking for help activates trust and belonging. Why people bond faster through shared effort. The surprising reasons small favors build stronger ties. Chapter 2: The psychology behind asking for help. Most people believe that to be liked, they must impress, be confident, be successful, have everything under control. But psychology tells a very different story. People don't connect most deeply with those who wow them. They connect with those who need them. Being impressive creates distance. Being needed creates closeness. Understanding this simple truth changes the way you approach friendships, relationships, and even everyday interactions. Why being needed feels so good. There is a quiet emotional reward that comes from helping someone. Psychologists often refer to this feeling as the helper's high. When we help, the brain releases chemicals like dopamine and oxytocin, associated with pleasure, bonding, and trust. Helping makes people feel useful, valued, trusted, connected. When you ask for help, you activate this reward system in others. Instead of being a burden, you become a source of positive emotion in their experience. This is why people often feel closer after they help someone, not before. The act of helping itself creates attachment. The illusion of impressing others. Impressing people works in the short term. They may admire you, respect you, even feel inspired by you. But admiration is not the same as connection. When you present yourself as completely self-sufficient, others place you on a pedestal. And pedestals are lonely places. People look up, but they don't lean in. Connection requires emotional equality. Asking for help subtly communicates, I trust you. I see value in you. That message is far more powerful than showing how capable you are. People don't remember how impressive you were. They remember how involved they felt. How asking for help builds trust and belonging. Trust isn't built by words. It's built by shared experiences. When you ask for help, you invite someone into a moment of vulnerability, and vulnerability is the birthplace of trust. By asking for help, you say, I trust your judgment. I value your skills. You matter to me. These messages create belonging on both sides. The helper feels included in your world, and you feel supported rather than alone. Over time, repeated moments of asking and helping create a rhythm of mutual reliance. That rhythm is the foundation of lasting relationships. Why shared effort creates faster bonds? Think about people you've grown close to quickly. Often, it's someone you worked with, struggled with, or solved a problem alongside. Shared effort compresses time. It fast-tracks bonding. When two people work toward something together, emotional walls come down, communication becomes natural, trust builds through action. Asking for help creates instant shared effort. Even small tasks, figuring something out, solving a minor problem, or making a decision, pull people onto the same side. You stop being two separate individuals and become a temporary team. That team feeling is powerful. The surprising power of small favors. Many people assume that asking for big help builds stronger bonds. In reality, small favors are often more effective. Small requests feel easy to say yes to, low pressure, natural and human. A quick question. A minor opinion. A small assist. These moments don't overwhelm, but they repeat. and repetition builds familiarity. Psychologists have long noted that people tend to like those they've helped. Each small favor reinforces the idea, I'm connected to this person. It's not the size of the help, it's the frequency and sincerity. Practical tips to use psychology wisely and authentically. 1. Ask for advice, not just action. Advice is powerful because it costs nothing but attention. People love sharing knowledge. What would you do in this situation? Have you ever dealt with something like this? Advice requests build trust without pressure. 2. Make your request specific. Vague requests create hesitation. Clear requests invite action. Instead of, can you help me sometime? Try, could you help me review this for 5 minutes? Specificity lowers resistance and increases willingness. 3. Accept help fully. When someone helps you, don't minimize it. Avoid, it's no big deal. Say instead, that really helped, thank you. This reinforces the helper's positive experience and strengthens the bond. 4. Balance giving and receiving over time. Connection isn't about keeping score. It's about flow. Sometimes you ask. Sometimes you give. Trust grows when both feel natural. 5. Stay genuine. Never ask for help as manipulation. People sense insincerity. Ask because you actually value their input. Authentic vulnerability builds real connection. The real secret of being liked. People don't fall for perfection. They fall for participation. They like feeling involved, trusted, and needed. When you ask for help, you're not lowering your value, you're increasing emotional closeness. The psychology is simple but powerful. People grow attached to what they invest in. By allowing others to invest in you, through advice, effort, or small favors, you create bonds that admiration alone can never achieve. As you continue, remember this, the fastest way into someone's heart isn't to impress them. It's to invite them in. And that invitation often begins with a simple question. Can you help me? Do the same for Chapter 3, Vulnerability Creates Emotional Safety. Key idea, openness invites closeness. Why perfection keeps relationships shallow. How small admissions create emotional permission. The difference between healthy vulnerability and oversharing. Turning simple help requests into moments of connection. Chapter 3, Vulnerability Creates Emotional Safety. Most people want deeper connections, but very few feel safe enough to create them. We protect ourselves with competence, humor, success, and control. We polish our image. We hide uncertainty. We aim for perfection, believing it will earn acceptance. But perfection doesn't create closeness. It creates distance. Real connection begins the moment someone feels emotionally safe with you. And emotional safety is built through vulnerability, not dramatic confessions, but small, honest moments of openness. Why perfection keeps relationships shallow. Perfection may impress, but it also intimidates. When you appear flawless, others feel pressure to perform around you. They become careful, guarded, less authentic. Perfection sends an unspoken message, there's no room for mistakes here. As a result, conversations stay surface level. People hide their struggles. Authentic sharing feels risky. Emotional walls remain intact. When no one is willing to be real, relationships stay pleasant, but shallow. Vulnerability, on the other hand, gives others permission to relax. It signals that honesty is welcome, not judged. How small admissions create emotional permission. Vulnerability doesn't mean unloading your deepest wounds. In fact, the most powerful vulnerability is often subtle. Small admissions like, "I'm not sure I handled that well. I find this a bit challenging. I get nervous in situations like this." These statements do something profound. They create emotional permission. When you admit uncertainty, others feel safe admitting theirs. When you acknowledge imperfection, others feel allowed to be human. This mutual openness creates emotional safety, the foundation of trust. One honest sentence can change the emotional tone of an entire interaction. The difference between healthy vulnerability and oversharing. Many people avoid vulnerability because they fear oversharing. And that fear is valid. Not all openness builds connection. Healthy vulnerability is relevant to the moment, is shared, gradually respects emotional boundaries, invites mutual openness. Oversharing dumps intense emotions too quickly, seeks validation rather than connection, ignores the listener's comfort, creates pressure instead of safety. The goal isn't emotional exposure. The goal is emotional alignment. Healthy vulnerability says, "I trust you a little." Oversharing says, "Please carry this for me." One builds closeness. The other creates distance. Why vulnerability builds emotional safety. Emotional safety is the feeling that you won't be judged, dismissed, or punished for being honest. Vulnerability creates this safety by modeling acceptance. When you share something real and nothing bad happens, trust grows. When you respond to others' vulnerability with empathy rather than advice or judgment, trust deepens even further. Over time, vulnerability becomes a shared language. Conversations move beyond facts and opinions into feelings and meaning. That's where real connection lives. Turning help requests into moments of connection. Asking for help is one of the safest forms of vulnerability. It's practical, relatable, and emotionally accessible. Instead of saying, "Can you help me with this?" try adding gentle openness. "I'm a bit stuck, could you help me think this through? I could use another perspective here. I don't want to overcomplicate this, what do you think?" These phrases communicate trust without emotional weight. They turn a simple request into a moment of connection. Practical ways to practice safe vulnerability. 1. Share feelings, not just facts. Add a small emotional layer to everyday conversation. Instead of, "Work was busy," try, "Work was busy, I felt pretty stretched." This invites empathy without intensity. 2. Go first, but go light. You don't need to wait for others to open up. Lead gently. "I'm still learning this. I don't have all the answers." These statements lower emotional defenses. 3. Respond to vulnerability with presence. When someone opens up, resist fixing. Say, "That makes sense." Or, "Thanks for trusting me with that." Safety grows when people feel heard, not corrected. 4. Match depth, don't leap ahead. Let vulnerability grow naturally. Share a little more than surface level, but not more than the moment calls for. 5. Notice who feels safe. Not everyone deserves access to your inner world. Pay attention to who responds with kindness and respect. Emotional safety is mutual. The power of being real. Vulnerability doesn't weaken relationships, it strengthens them. It transforms conversations from polite exchanges into meaningful moments. It replaces performance with presence. When you allow yourself to be real, others relax. When you stop pretending, others stop hiding. And slowly, almost invisibly, emotional safety forms. Remember this, closeness doesn't come from being perfect. It comes from being present, honest, and open, just enough to let someone step closer. In a world full of masks, vulnerability is the quiet signal that says, "You're safe here." Do the same with examples for Chapter 4, How Asking for Help Turns Acquaintances into Friends. Key idea: friendship grows through mutual support. Everyday situations where asking for help deepens bonds. How shared challenges strengthen relationships. The power of reciprocity, giving, receiving, and balanced. Stories of friendships born from simple asks. Chapter 4, How Asking for Help Turns Acquaintances into Friends. Most friendships don't begin with deep conversations or dramatic moments. They begin quietly, through small exchanges of support. A question asked. A favor given. A moment shared. Friendship grows through mutual support, not instant chemistry. And one of the most reliable ways to move from acquaintance to friend is surprisingly simple: ask for help. Why acquaintances stay acquaintances? Acquaintances exist at a safe distance. You chat politely. You share updates. You keep things light. What's missing isn't interest, it's shared investment. Without moments of contribution, there's no emotional glue. Asking for help creates that glue by inviting participation. The shift from "I know you" to "I matter to you" often begins with a single request. Everyday situations where asking for help deepens bonds. You don't need a crisis. Everyday life is full of opportunities to turn small asks into connection. At work. Can I get your thoughts on this approach? You're good at this, can you show me how you'd handle it? In social settings. Can you help me choose between these? Would you mind introducing me to them? In daily life. Do you know a good place for this? Could you help me figure this out real quick? These requests do more than solve problems. They communicate respect, trust, and inclusion. Example: the workplace shift. Two colleagues exchange polite greetings for months. One day, one asks the other for advice on a small task. They work through it together. The next day, they talk again, more comfortably. Soon, they share lunch. Eventually, they become friends. What changed? Shared effort. That one moment of asking created a bridge. How shared challenges strengthen relationships. Challenges bond people faster than comfort. When you navigate something together, even something minor, you create a shared memory. Consider studying together for a test, solving a work problem as a team, helping someone move, navigating a stressful situation side by side. During challenges, people reveal their real selves. Trust forms through action. Emotional barriers drop. The relationship becomes a we instead of you and me. Example: the missed train. Two casual friends miss a train together. They figure out an alternative plan, share frustration, laugh, and help each other problem solve. That shared inconvenience becomes a story, and stories create bonds. It's not the event that matters. It's facing it together. The power of reciprocity, giving, receiving, and balance. Friendship isn't about keeping score. It's about balance over time. If you only give, you become helpful but distant. If you only receive, you feel indebted. If you both give and receive, trust flourishes. Asking for help creates room for reciprocity. It allows others to contribute, just as you do. This balance makes friendships feel natural rather than one-sided. Example: the mutual exchange. You ask a neighbor for help fixing something. Later, you offer to help them with something else. Neither favor is huge, but together, they form trust. Reciprocity doesn't require equality in every moment, only fairness across time. Stories of friendships born from simple asks. The gym friendship. Someone asks for spotting advice at the gym. They train together. Weeks later, they're sharing life stories. The new city connection. A newcomer asks for local recommendations. That conversation leads to coffee. Coffee leads to friendship. The study partner. One student asks another for notes. They study together. They support each other through stress. They become close. These friendships didn't start with charisma. They started with a question. Practical ways to turn acquaintances into friends. 1. Choose low-risk requests. Start small and specific. Advice, opinions, minor assistance. 2. Acknowledge the help. Say thank you genuinely. Let people feel the impact of their contribution. 3. Follow up. Mention how the help worked out. Your advice really helped. That made things easier. This reinforces connection. 4. Offer help naturally. When the opportunity arises, give back without obligation. Friendship grows through flow, not transactions. 5. Let time do its work. One ask opens the door. Repeated moments of mutual support build the relationship. The quiet transition to friendship. Friendship rarely arrives announced. It forms quietly, through shared effort and mutual care. When you ask for help, you're not just solving a problem, you're inviting someone into your world. Over time, those invitations turn familiarity into trust, and trust into friendship. And often, the strongest friendships begin not with a grand gesture, but with a simple ask. Can you help me? Do the same for Chapter 5, Building a Life Where You're Never Alone. Key idea: asking for help is a lifelong social skill. Letting go of fear, pride, and rejection, creating a support network, naturally becoming someone others trust and want to help, living connected, supported, and deeply liked. Chapter 5, Building a Life Where You're Never Alone. No one sets out to live a disconnected life. Loneliness rarely comes from a lack of people, it comes from a habit of carrying everything alone. Over time, pride hardens into isolation, fear turns into silence, and independence becomes a wall. Asking for help is not a phase or a tactic. It is a lifelong social skill. And when practiced consistently, it reshapes your relationships, your sense of belonging, and the way you move through the world. Letting go of fear, pride, and rejection. The biggest barriers to asking for help are internal. Fear whispers, "What if they say no?" Pride insists, "I should handle this myself." Past rejection reminds you of moments when you felt exposed or dismissed. But asking for help isn't about guaranteeing a yes. It's about being willing to be seen. A refusal isn't a rejection of you, it's usually about timing, capacity, or circumstance. When you stop personalizing every response, asking becomes lighter and less risky. Pride, when unchecked, doesn't protect you. It isolates you. Real confidence says, "I know my value, and I know others have value too. Letting go doesn't happen all at once. It happens in small decisions. Choosing honesty over silence, choosing connection over control, choosing courage over comfort. Creating a support network naturally. Many people think support networks are built intentionally, like assembling a team. In reality, they form organically through repeated moments of mutual help. A support network grows when you ask for help occasionally, offer help when it feels natural, show appreciation, stay emotionally available. Over time, people learn. You're open, not closed. You trust others, you value relationships. This creates a web of connection, not one person carrying everything, but many people each holding a small part. Example, the invisible network. Someone struggles alone for years, believing they don't have support. Then they begin asking small things, advice here, a favor there. Slowly, they realize people want to be there. The network was always possible. The door was just never opened. Becoming someone others trust and want to help. People are drawn to those who are emotionally safe, appreciative, and genuine. When you ask for help in healthy ways, you develop these qualities naturally. You become trustworthy because you trust others, likable because you're authentic, approachable because you're open. People want to help those who respect boundaries, express gratitude, don't exploit generosity, give back when they can. Asking for help, done well, signals maturity, not neediness. Example, the trusted colleague. A colleague regularly asks for input, listens thoughtfully, and acknowledges contributions. Over time, people seek them out, not because they are perfect, but because they are collaborative and respectful. Trust grows through consistency. Living connected, supported, and deeply liked. A connected life isn't loud or crowded. It's steady. It's knowing you're not alone when things get hard, and not pretending you are. When you ask for help, you share the weight, you deepen relationships, you normalize connection. You stop performing strength and start experiencing support. Practical habits for a connected life. 1. Ask before you're overwhelmed. Don't wait until burnout forces vulnerability. Ask early. It builds healthier patterns. 2. Normalize asking. Treat help as normal, not exceptional. Make it part of everyday interaction. 3. Keep a long-term view. Balance happens over time. Today you receive. Tomorrow you give. 4. Express appreciation often. Gratitude strengthens bonds and invites future connection. 5. Be present for others. Support isn't transactional. It's relational. The life you build through asking. Asking for help doesn't make life easier in every moment, but it makes life richer, warmer, and more human. You build relationships that aren't based on image, but on trust. You stop carrying everything alone. You create a life where support flows naturally in both directions. And one day, without realizing it, you look around and notice something powerful. You are known. You are supported. You are not alone. Not because you never needed anyone, but because you finally let them in. As you come to the end of this audiobook, one truth should now feel clear: asking for help was never the problem. Avoiding it was. Connection doesn't happen by accident. It happens when we choose openness over pride, courage over comfort, and trust over control. Every time you ask for help, you create a moment of honesty. Every time someone responds, a bond forms. And over time, those bonds become a life where you are never truly alone. You don't need to change who you are to be liked. You don't need to impress, perform, or prove your worth. You only need to let people in, one small request at a time. Remember, the strongest relationships are not built on perfection, but on participation. On showing up for each other. On giving and receiving without keeping score. From this moment forward, you can carry a lighter load. You can stop pretending you don't need anyone. You can choose connection. And when you do, you'll find that people don't just like you more, they trust you more, feel closer to you, and want to walk beside you. Because in the end, the most powerful words you can say are not, "I've got it all figured out." They are simply, "Can you help me?" And with that question, a more connected life begins. Create an SEO-optimized description with appropriate keywords, #ready tags and chap list without timestamps.